Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty light video for you guys. I think we only have 2 first appearances, 4 honorable mentions, so only 6 titles in all to go through. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending March 22nd, 2024. First up from Marvel Comics, Star Wars Jango Fett number 1. This features the first appearance of Y399. Now, we always mention this with the Marvel published Star Wars titles. It's always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in these titles. You know, Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media for the Star Wars franchise, and you really don't know where the characters they're introducing in the comics may end up. You know, if they hit the screen, whether it's small or big screen, you know, that will send collectors racing back to the comics to try to find these first appearances. So it's always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in these Marvel published Star Wars titles. So this one here is one we do think you should pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And lastly, from Marvel Comics, Star Wars Thrawn Alliances number 3. This features the first team appearance of the Gursk. Now, this is the first team appearance, not necessarily the first appearance of any of these particular characters within the team, but what we do have confirmation on is this is the first team appearance of the Gursk. So this one here, like we just mentioned a moment ago, typically a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters or new teams in these Marvel published Star Wars titles. You know, if these teams or these new characters hit the screen, people will race back to the comics and try to find these first appearances. It's definitely worth owning them for the cover price. In our opinion, the risk is always worth the reward on these books. $3 or $4, you could be set on a huge winner here. You know, you definitely don't want to chase them down years later for a lot more money. So this is another one we do think you should pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Dark Horse, Dawn Runner number 1. A century ago, a portal opened to our world and plunged humanity into a gladiatorial combat of Iron Kings versus an invasive species. Now, we always mention this with Dark Horse Comics. You know, Dark Horse has had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past. So whenever they put out a title like this, it sounds like it can translate very well to a small screen, big screen project. We do recommend picking these up for a spec. You know, like I mentioned, Dark Horse has had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past. And whether they actually make it to the screen or not is kind of irrelevant. Once they actually get the buzz that they have been optioned for a small screen, big screen project, that is the price driver for these books. And they do start trading at a premium on the secondary market. So this is one we do think is a great spec. Like I said, does sound like it translates easily to the screen. So this one here, pick it up for a spec if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. Next up from Boom Comics, Dune House Corrino number 1. This is a prequel story that leads up to the events of the first Dune novel. Now, Dune, of course, has had a huge resurgence in popularity due to the feature films. You know, any sci-fi or fantasy fans from the last 20, 30 years have already been a big fan of Dune. But like I said, it has been getting a big resurgence in popularity due to the feature films. So this one here, we do think is probably worth picking up for the cover price. This will be speculative. It really depends on what they do with this prequel story. If this is actually any good, you know, collectors will want to own this issue, or if they introduce new characters into this prequel that actually didn't make it into the novel, you know, that might be worth owning as well. So this here will be speculative, like I said, but Boom Comics, you know, they've had a lot of their titles picked up an option for small screen, big screen projects in the past. If fans and collectors do like this prequel series here, you know, there is a possibility that this could be optioned for a feature film as well. So this one here will be speculative, like I said, but probably worth owning for the cover price. Grab this one here for a spec if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four number 18. Now, the solicitation for this issue teases an all-new S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, at this point, we really don't know what that means. The books just hit the shelf this morning. We don't know if this new S.H.I.E.L.D. features some new characters. If this does feature the first appearance of new characters, this is one you definitely want to own. If this is just existing characters being repurposed for this new S.H.I.E.L.D. program, then this one here definitely becomes a little more speculative. You know, Disney Marvel definitely has a way of bringing these new iterations or these new versions of teams onto the screen and making them more popular or just as popular as the original. So this one here does become a little bit more speculative if this is just repurposed characters. So this one here, maybe do a little bit more research on it before you pick it up. But once again, for the cover price, maybe worth the risk. For $3 or $4, you know, if this is the new S.H.I.E.L.D., if this is the S.H.I.E.L.D. that's going to hit the screen on the next iteration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this one here may be worth owning. So grab this one for a spec if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list and keep an eye on it. And finally from IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan number 1. The daughter of Shredder fights those who lay claim to her destiny to control the Foot Clan. Now this here is a premiere issue of this new Untold Destiny title series for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe. Anytime there's a premiere issue, a new series starting for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we always recommend picking those up. You know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are just as popular today as they were back in the 90s when they first came out, and the fact that this here is the premiere issue of this new series, and this one here does feature the daughter of Shredder as one of the main characters. But this one here, like I said, it is a little bit more speculative if you choose to pick it up, but probably worth doing so. Like I said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, any of the premiere issues of the new series are starting. These are very popular with fans and collectors. Definitely worth picking up for $3 or $4 in my opinion. Grab this one here for a spec if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but keep an eye on this one. So there you have the 6 titles we have for you guys this week. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.